We're going to be taking the journey together. We usually have a
Intro,
intro. And what else?
and it's not happening.
No, looks like you are seeing the right place. You're at the right place. It's just that our usual intro and stuff that we have is not working. I don't know why, but it's not working. Um, so we're going to try to do what we can to kind of move through this, if all possible, and get the show rolling. I don't know if it has to do with Jan, why don't you take over for a minute?
Okay, I am. Yeah, we are. I'm just kind of sitting here trying to figure out what's going on, just like Craig. But you know what? We're gonna the intro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
As we are going in such a way that we start off with our best friend and
mm-hmm.
move that relationship to a loving relationship. So you
Is it? I don't know, but we are definitely having a wow. Seriously, I just pinned the top. Hopefully, that
okay.
means something. So
It's
definitely something is there. Not that we want, but it's still there.
yeah.
So what's the date, by the way?
Today is the night. February 9th.
This one. And
Yeah. Woman to say
yeah,
it.
I don't know. It's used to common that this base
Uh, uh, yeah, the one part. Loud and I don't
answer is the real problem. Anyways, yes, crazy as a
yes.
fox.
There you go. That
Okay,
is
so
yes.
I'm. Let me look again to see if that person in the background. Well, we just lost her.
Yeah.
she she was there. What a day we're having
I
today, isn't it?
know. It's just really different.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely, definitely.
Yeah, so and we are in the right place. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, we will ride this out, and it will come through, and everything will be just
I think the
fine.
connection's unstable wherever it's at. I think that has a
Yeah.
lot to do with it's from that end. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, I thought it was me. She's going to try to come. We got a guest coming today on Taking the Journey Show. For those who are just now watching and wondering what's going on, not the way we usually like it, folks, but please share anyway. Share to your friends. Share to your
Enemies,
enemies. Just go ahead and share,
family.
share alike, and family. And please do not think that we're not going to not do this, but we are. It's just
Yes.
an unusual situation. We're going to have a good show today to talk about our. Did you talk about what our mission really is?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we got our guest that's going to be on the show in the background, and we're going to try to get her in real quickly. And you want to introduce her? Let's go ahead and get her in. I figure it can't get any better than that. But except for
Well,
when she comes, it's going to get better than
exactly.
worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you are an avid watcher of
Our Black media.
thank you,
Mm-hmm.
then you may be and should be familiar with her already.
Exactly.
And I'm
I
not
can't
going
even
to
see with my glasses. Let me take them out.
Oh, see, that's not working. And so we're not going to prolong this any longer. We're
Okay.
going to go ahead and bring her
Well,
on.
who is she?
I'm getting ready to tell you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring her in so you can say something.
Mona Lisa Monroe.
Mona
Yes.
Lisa.
Hello, hello,
Hey,
hello. It is wonderful to see the other half.
She's been
How
so
are
good. She's
you?
been so bad.
I
Wanted to
am
see you. Wasn't
good.
even
How
funny.
about you?
I'm doing
So bad
great.
that I
I'm
missed the other show. I was like, oh. So,
I think Mona Lisa thought I was lying about you not actually existing when I was talking to her. I thought to myself, I should take a picture when we have these problems and just lay it right on the chair.
yeah, get a cardboard cutout of me.
Yeah.
No, I believe it. You are beautiful.
Yep. So you've been having problems like us. I talked to Julius. He's supposed to be in Atlanta, but we're having some problems with the network. I think it's back at the studio where we all kind of log through where the
Yeah.
problem is too. So, but we're going to continue to go on anyway.
That's what we do. We keep it pushing.
Yes.
Exactly.
We-
Push it real good too.
We speaking of which, as you are talking about pushing it real good, we are going to be talking today about pushing energy.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
We're
okay.
talking about
Yes.
Is that what our topic is?
Well, kind of, sort of. But I was just trying to do a segue. You know how that is, kind of make a smooth transition.
A smooth transition.
Smooth transition.
Do we really exchange energy during what?
Sex.
I don't say that word because I'm too old. I mean, too young. Yeah, I forgot. Too young.
Yes, you're too young. So I'm old enough to say it.
Okay.
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 During sex.
Getting to know one another.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So, that word sex still is a taboo, meaning not something you're supposed to be speaking about word. Even in the relationships that we're in, up to even marriage, it usually seems like it's a word that people are quite frankly scared of, but people are still being much involved with it.
Yes.
So it's always amazing about that. It really is. What do you think about that, Mrs. Mona Lisa?
What I think about energy or sex?
No, the sex part. Come on now.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. I think I've always believed that it depends on where you are, whether that's an age or a level of maturity, or if you've been abused or something like that, because everyone thinks that sex is a great thing. But if you were to take a tally on how many people just really don't care for it, they can live without it because of whatever happened to them when they were younger. So for me, I think it's a necessary need, of course. And I also feel like that it is an opportunity for the person, the couple, the partners to get to know each other on a very intimate level. And of course, what comes with that is the energy, like we were talking about. The energy in it is divine to me. It's divine energy because it's connecting in no other way. I mean, it's not talking, it's body language.
Mhm.
It's not um I think we connect thinking, we
Mhm.
connect emotionally, we
Mhm.
connect physically. I'm just thinking that that's a level that you can connect with all five senses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I I,
Yeah.
th- I think we should just conclude the show because you just did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Ah, wow. I'm so, let's turn off the lights. The show's over.
Yeah.
Drop the
Yeah.
mic.
Thank you all for coming. That was yeah.
Well, one thing is for sure, when it comes to the area of sex on the energy side, what's the important thing that we don't many times think about is that there's that pickup and the compromise of
Mhm.
energy that happens in the exchange of sex. What are we trying to say? What we're trying to say on the energy side, she's talking about the divine words on the spiritual side, and that's fine. You could talk all that. Some people are, spiritually inclined, which we are, and some people are religiously inclined, which you are. Some of us are still not at that level when it comes to relating with one another.
Right.
And taking the journey always is all about expanding, bringing balance in, but taking and making sure we meet people where they're at, many times people on the survival side, and then bring them up to another level. And that
Mhm.
other level is to be more spiritual. It is to be a more understanding of who you are in the inside, because who you really are on the inside is what we call like the ghost in the machine in so many
Yes.
words. So we are energetic bodies. Okay.
Mhm.
We are energetic bodies. We are energetic beings. We let off energy all the time.
Yes.
Now, those in the spiritual world say we can see your aura. Other people who are in the scientific world have machines like EKGs and other things that can
Mhm.
actually map and see your aura or your energies that give off. But in the end, since that is a real reality of us as our bodies itself, we can bet and know that doing the exchange of sex,
Mm.
your energy level is going to rise or it's going to lower, one of the
Yes.
two.
Yes.
Isn't that right, Sharon?
Absolutely. And it's always it's never the same all the time. Like one time it could be one has more energy than the other afterwards, and the next time it's like it flips. Or sometimes you're both drained because you have expended all that you have into each other.
Right.
I thought
Yes.
you were getting ready to say
Right.
something.
No, because I heard you say into each other. I'm like, hold on for a second now. Are you trying to talk about the mechanical side?
No, I'm not. I'm
Or
talking
the
about
psychological side?
The
This is a
psychological
family
side.
friendly show.
I'm-
So watch, it's a family friendly
I'm,
show.
I'm
I don't
talking
want to get outside of
I'm talking about the energy exchange.
Oh, okay, okay.
That
Okay.
and if you can have energy exchange even if there is not a mechanical part, as
That's
you
very
said.
true. We'll be definitely talking about that
Yes,
another
and
time.
and
And
so
I was gonna say I totally agree with you. And by the way, my
Hmm.
husband ended up getting called into work. That's why he's not with me.
Oh,
But
okay.
with that being said, I have to say this. If you don't know yourself, if you don't know your body, how in the world are you going to be effective with exchanging the energy? Because for women, a lot of women don't know their bodies. So they don't know what to tell the person that they're with what they like or don't like.
mhm,
See
And
now, see
yeah,
now she's getting into the mechanics of that. Now you're moving into I want you to hold that because the mechanics of that we
that's
usually
not mechanics.
we usually talk about and we usually relate, which is the mechanics part. That's
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 not
the,
mechanics.
that's the what they call psychological portion of it, how it affects you mentally and how you then respond sexually. No doubt about it, that part is important. And I want you to hold that for a second because we're definitely going to get there. We definitely are going to talk about that. Right now, we are trying to, I won't say level the field, but trying to reach out to those that usually listen to our show who are at the survival level
Ah,
and moving to that next level that you have had the privilege, the honesty, hopefully, and last but not least, the grace to be at. But not everybody is. Not everybody.
That's true. That's
So
true.
we are taking the journey, because I know this has been a couple of times you've seen our show, and the last time you on it, we always remember that our people that we're reaching out and who we're trying to reach out to are people who are at the survival level, and they want to move and expand the relationship. They may want to rebuild the relationship. Basically, they want to get it more healthy
Yes.
and more balanced.
And-
so we want to reach them
Yeah.
to where they are at, and then hopefully, if they choose to,
Yes.
that is, take it to the next particular level.
And it may even be that they were healthy, they were in a healthy relationship at one time, and it dropped off. And a lot of times when people start off in a healthy relationship and then it drops off, they don't know how to get back to that healthy point. And
That's true.
so that's another part of trying to help build that
Exactly.
up.
So hold your thought. We want to go through this real quickly to put some information out that's at that level, and then we're going to roll right into it. Is that fair? Is that fair?
Of course.
Oh, okay, good. She said, "Yeah, it is fair. It's your show. Of course, it's fair." Yes, we're right.
However you want to do it.
Therefore, a sexual relationship is not purely physical and psychological. It's not just a mechanical
Right.
act, which a lot of people actually think of too
Yeah.
bad.
Because
Basically,
that's as far as they go.
well,
and
remember
the
when we
thought-
talked about the 12 different closeness in a relationship,
Exactly.
about the most closeness that we usually start with in a relationship
Is
is
the
either
sexual.
infatuation, which is
Mhm.
still sexual
Yes.
lust, and that's the most thing
That-
that
exactly.
we exist in,
Yeah.
especially through our environment,
Hmm.
our community, our
Yes.
culture, to be exact. And we don't much move to the other kind of closeness. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look, but the couple of shows back, we talked about the 12 different closeness that you in turn can have in a balanced relationship, or you should look at. And we looked at a closeness of sexuality as being one of the most one we
Mhm.
focus on and concentrate on and make it seem like that's what we're all about,
And
and
that's-
miss out on all the
And
other
that's
closeness.
the be all and end all of being close.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So basically, people can describe every type of communication connection is really as exchange, or what I call an energy exchange.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with you, if we can move from that technical word of energy exchange as a view of science, I think the spiritual part that we should talk about is really our life force.
Yes.
Our
Yeah,
I agree with
energy
that.
is our life
Yes.
force. That's what it is. That's what it's made of. And when you think of it more as a life force than just the energy, then it moves from where we're a mechanical machine that
Mhm.
basically has gears in it and has different apparatus in it that has us move forward. We need gas and all that stuff, electricity, and never gets really personal connected to us
Right.
as a higher level being
Mhm.
connected with some kind of spirituality.
And what it takes to sustain that being.
Exactly. And
Right.
that brings that sensitivity. Okay. It also brings in the effect of imprinting on us. You heard the old saying, I know you have too, the old saying that people can leave imprints in our sand
Mhm.
in life.
Mhm.
And we know we're not talking about what? Sand on the beach?
No,
No, we're not
No.
talking about sand on the beach. We're talking about what then?
we are talking about what I took it to mean is the different pathways we take and the things that we move in, whatever our experiences are, that we leave a memory with the people that we exchange with.
Is
Yeah.
that okay? That's the furthest you would say? Would you say the same thing too?
Yeah, I would say that imprints, meaning impact. People have different impacts in your life. They come in certain seasons. And sometimes people shift the paradigm when they come into your life. You know, you might be heading down this direction. And as soon as you meet somebody, boom, you're shifting. So footprints, yes. But whose footprints?
Yeah, well, hopefully those footprints will be like hopefully one of my footprints. Hopefully you are.
Yeah.
I think you are.
Because we were like that, what Mona Lisa just mentioned a
What's
minute
that?
ago. You're heading down one path and then you
Mhm.
meet somebody and boom, there's you're going in another direction. I was going in one direction when I met you. I had no intention of veering off.
Exactly.
Hold
Right.
on. No intention of wanting to
None.
go off the you didn't
No, absolutely.
hold on.
not.
You didn't like me before you knew me? You
sure
didn't even think I existed before you knew
The
me.
path was different.
Oh my
imagine
goodness!
that.
I was trying to create you in my mind, in my very dreams, and all of a sudden you became the manifestation of the woman that I've always wanted. When I walked down that last aisle before I was left, and I was ready to go there and think about anyone else, and then I saw you.
He said that last
Well, yeah,
time.
that was true. But
Hey, but you do. I told her our story too, by the way. We talked about it. I didn't tell her the part that when we did our talking together, and it sounded like we were, boy, we just felt like we were talking forever.
Mhm.
The couple that was behind us or beside us, what did they say?
How long y'all been knowing each other? And I turned around and I'm going, we didn't know each other until he just walked up. And y'all talking that long? Y'all act like you've been knowing each other forever. No.
And I thought with on my dualism side, Craig's side, which is kind of like a street kind of side, I would think it's none of your business. But anyway,
And my thought was, why are you sitting there listening to our conversation? You know?
but I mean, again, talking about life energy
Yes.
and connecting to us being energy beings, that those connections are beyond what we just see.
Mhm.
They are beyond the mechanical part or the psychophysical part of us, that they exist in a spiritual world. And we always talked about how our connection later on was something that we feel as being a soulmate.
Yes.
So it was something that was called sometime before at another time. Shoot, I don't know who you were before and who I was before, but we must knew each other from some time
Yes.
before.
That was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Arguable,
Not
because
at the beginning it was. Because
well,
a couple of times when I was talking to you about it, because I felt it was that way, you were like, man, you're crazy.
but you know, you also go through a point where sometimes you don't want to believe things.
True.
You don't want you sense it,
Well,
feel it, but you
Mhm.
don't want to acknowledge it because you're like, you know,
yeah.
my mind was still there's still a chance that I may go down this other path that I was on already. You know?
Yeah. Because it was hard for me to think that you only have one. You know, a lot of people think that you have only one soulmate.
That's not
I
true.
don't think that.
No.
I
No, that's
think,
not true.
you know, so I don't think that. I think that I did meet my soulmate,
Mhm.
but I don't think that it's just one person in this whole 7 billion people that connects with you on different levels. You know what I'm saying?
No.
My husband connects with me on the levels that work right now because we're both growing together. And the goal of the future is to keep the connection going because we both evolve. We're both going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
you know, as you
horrible relationship if there is no growth.
there you go.
That's true, but many people live on the level of there is no more growth that needs to go because you have to accept me for who I am, and this is how it's always going to be. And if you don't have the ability to be able to do that, then you really don't love me.
And not only
I should have
that,
said that again. That sounds good.
And not only that, I'm an adult.
Oh yeah,
I've already grown up.
Yeah, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown woman. I got to work anymore. A lot of survival relationships.
Run. If you hear somebody say that, you run very fast.
I understand that. Cher and I once in a while we play the good cop, the bad cop, and I would guarantee you, Mona Lisa, that there are many relationships. So even listening right now who are like that. They see no reason. This just is no reason. And to back up that, as we're going to continue to move on, that there's been many studies in the area, which I look into a lot, that have to do with relationships, that kind of relationship can last for a long time. Now, there are some byproducts that come out of it, no doubt about it, but it can last for a long time too. So it's not like it can't whatsoever, because it can. But you're going to have to be prepared sometimes that there's going to be some byproducts out of that probably not going to be very, very well. And you probably will not have a relationship that will live it up to its fulfillment. And your life won't be necessarily fulfilled totally from that end.
Yeah.
On that note, when you talked about soulmates, you know, your mom, your brother, and a friend could be a soulmate. I know some people who are very, very, some women I knew who are very close to the mom. They claim their mom is their soulmate. They're just that close to one another. So you're right. A soulmate does not have to
Yeah.
be just one person. And it doesn't have to be just, you hope it would be, but it doesn't have to be just to make that your wife.
Yeah, my grandmother was that to me. I mean, growing up, I didn't even know what a soulmate was,
Mm.
but we were just on some level of connection that is just really difficult to explain, but we felt each other that way, you know, and still feel her sometimes.
Mhm.
And she's been gone from this earth for close to 40 years.
Wow.
So ooh, that's a long time now I
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, but that's the kind of
Mhm.
imprint that she left on you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of imprint was very strong.
As a matter of fact, I still walk around sometime and say, you know, as Nana used to say, and he's like, you always telling what she said,
and
you know.
and you live out. You're like many of us black men. I'm a hold up for your brothers. You need to understand that. I'm gonna do that. Many times, as brothers, ain't even thought about. Because I always talk about, didn't your daddy say anything to you? Did he not even leave any kind of words of inspiration, any
Yes.
imprints on you?
I had
Oh
him.
my goodness.
I had
My
him.
husband.
I had my father only 10 years, but I had my grandmother for 30 some years.
Okay,
So I mean that was and that was an everyday
everyday thing.
thing.
Mona, I heard in your background. You're going to say something about your husband. Go ahead.
Oh, my husband quotes his father all the time. They were like this. So he's like my daddy used to say. That's what I hear.
Well, I will say to you, those who are listening to us now, especially our young ones who are listening to us, if we know that we do, or I definitely when I'm out and I'm talking around to them, I let them know that their words can be words of positive or words of negative, and that they can leave legacies on both sides. And that's important for them to know that. And some of the young men that I work with, they are very concerned about their words being left as legacies in their children's life. I'm very happy to hear that.
Wow.
I came out of a single parent family. My dad wasn't with me ever since I was 8 or 9, maybe younger than that. So I really didn't know my dad well. When he passed away, I was at his funeral. Then he pretty much didn't want me to come to the funeral because I'm a pretty rebellious child. And they thought I was going to talk about him like a dog in front of all of his uncles and stuff. They were very strong from that end. They had about 13 kids. All of them were males except for one. So they were very unhappy about me coming. But I didn't speak that at that particular funeral. I spoke something very prolific, very uplifting. I pretty much had all the young men there and the uncles almost crying with what I spoke, and what I said is very prolific, straightforward, and honest from that particular. And so the need for young men to understand that their words, their life is something, and that their energy, life force is also important in the life of the males, and the life of the females, and the life of the children is important and ordained for them to be able to speak truth to power, and at the same time feel good about themselves in life.
That is correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. I totally could. You know, and that's something, you know, why would you speak ill of someone at a funeral? But you know, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm not going to answer this, but come on, Lisa. We're talking about black folks fed funeral. Come on now.
That's what I said. I'm like, wow.
They thought I was going to be one of them. But
you were going to be that
didn't.
person.
Yeah, they thought I was going to be that person. But I don't like funerals anyway. I'll be honest with you. I really don't.
don't either.
No.
You're speaking of energy being transferred. That is two places to me to where energy is transferred. Let's just say that a wedding and a funeral.
Yeah,
there's energy being transferred like crazy in those two arenas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. So we're going to move on because we're going to get ready to go to commercial here pretty soon. So we want to end this one, and then we're going to get into some really good questions. In essence, we can be affected by a person's positive move, their negative move, their toxic energy. And we talked about toxicity in a couple of elements a few months ago. And we can surely be affected in the same way, of course, doing sex. And that's, I think, the important part we wanted to set before we move a little bit further, is because a lot of folks don't look at that sexual connection as being something that really affects us in our own being. I remember when I used to be back in the church world. I don't want to get into it, but I did. And there was that involvement when we dealt with parents with kids. And we would see sometimes kids or their daughter or their son would come home, and all of a sudden, certain mate, a certain girlfriend, and they would talk about wanting to do the most craziest things that seem to be not logical at all when it comes to that new boyfriend, that new girlfriend I've been around for a while. And before that time, they seem to be very logical and reasonable when it comes to that relationship. All of a sudden, a week or a month after that, all of a sudden, crazy stuff comes out of their mouth in connection to them, almost in a possessive, obsessive kind of way. And the parents are like, what's going on? I don't understand it. Bah, da, da, da. And we would have to tell them, well, what probably happened is you didn't understand there was an energy exchange.
Mhm.
Now, at that time, it was hard for us to tell them that they probably had sex, and that's what's going on. So there was what we call, sometimes people call in the religious world, and it's also in other places, there was like a soul tie that was connected between the two.
Yes.
And that energy exchange, that kind of uncomfortable exchange that you just talked about, that you need to be concerned about, my sister, at the first time, that's that kind of exchange that's happened with many of our young folks
Mhm.
who don't understand that. We haven't been presented to them, and our churches, the rest of them, folks, have not really gave us that kind of knowledge.
Unfortunately, still today, the idea is if we don't talk about it, they won't do it.
Yeah. You
No.
a school teacher, you see that all the time. On that note, I'm assuming you've had children, right?
Oh, 4.
4 of them.
Four.
Did you have that talk?
You know what? I did not have to. Their fathers were very present in their lives.
Okay.
That's number one. And then number two, because of my grandmother, I
Mhm.
knew when, like you said, the energy shifted. So
Mhm.
each time they lost their virginity, I knew it. I knew it.
Wow. Seriously.
Yeah, because you know your boys, you know your girls, you
Mhm.
know what you've put in them. And the moment that they, like my grandma used to say, start smelling themselves,
Yep.
is when there's been a shift. So yeah.
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 Sharon, you remember that old saying about
I do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start
Definitely.
smelling yourself.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. Wrong time to smell yourself. Really it is. It really is.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
We are still having a problem with the station. I can't pull up some things that we usually do during commercials. So we're going to kind of do our own commercial, and we don't mind. You don't mind staying in. I don't really want to put you out in the back from in. You don't mind?
However you want to do it. This is
Okay.
your show.
We're going to, what's actually ours. But anyway, I'm going to do it anyway. Here goes. It should be. Oh, there it is. It wasn't. Well,
Why is there something behind it?
well, how's that? It's going to be at there. I'll see if I can get it bigger for you. How's that? There you go.
Okay, that works.
Okay. Once you want to talk a little bit more about it, and I'll put it on the whole screen. How's that? There you go.
Yes, we are really excited. I know I am extremely excited about the fact that we're going to have another date night workshop. And this is we had one a couple of years ago, and then COVID popped up again, and so we kind of put it on hold. And so now we're getting back to the place where we can start it again. And it's open to couples from about 25 to the mid 70s. And it's a way to rebuild your relationship. It's to rekindle things and to last week we were talking about getting out of your box and doing something different. And a lot of relationships are made up of, we both go to work, we both come home, we have dinner, we watch a little TV, go to bed, get up in the morning, start all over again.
Yeah.
And you get stuck in that.
Stuck like Chuck. I'm not going to say the rest.
Thank you. Please don't. And so, and so what we do, if you can do something a little bit different, it's like, and this is one of those little different things. Valentine's Day, everybody's wanting to do something special, something different. And this is one of those little fun things that we do. And, couples come out, they connect with one another. They, have some time to talk to one another, to do things that they really haven't done. We play some couple games, and we have some couple conversations and questions, and just build on the relationship that you have.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter whether you're in a surviving relationship or a thriving relationship. it's all about learning together and figuring out where it is that you need to be, where you are and where you want to be, and being able to do it together. And so this is on February 24th. I
Mhm.
know we say Valentine's Day, but we couldn't do February 14th. So let's end it out in the month outright. We'll do Valentine's Day again. So if you do it on the 14th, you can do it again on the 24th. If you
Yeah.
don't do it on the 14th, you can do it on the 24th. But the bottom line is you're doing something with your friend, you're
Exactly.
doing something with your partner, and you're building memories.
At the bottom, you can see here we're showing taking the journey where you can actually. Oh, was it there? Still there now. Taking the journey. Was it taking the journey dash together.com? It's our
Yes.
website that you can actually go to, and you'll be able to see the other events that we did in the past. In fact, we did the taking the journey a while. Wow stands for what?
Waves of the water.
We did that, of course, in Richmond Hill sometime
Mhm.
before. So you get to see the people that
Yes.
went there that really enjoyed themselves, the games we had them play, and at the same time, they give a couple of testimonies that they had. So you're not there
Yeah.
just to be able to eat. You're not there just to be able to, how can I say it, have a day out and then you come home.
Mhm.
This is also throwing in a workshop. So
Yes.
this is about if you want, as you're taking your relationship and you want to polish it a little bit, you want to shine it a little bit, you want to find a little bit more
Do
detail
some window
about
dressing.
your relationship.
Yeah.
And because that's what's all apart growing
Mhm.
in your relationship, then
Yeah.
you're definitely gonna want to come to this and enjoy
And
yourself.
you might win a gift.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
Yay.
where are we having it at, by the way?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We've got a couple of places that we're looking at, but one of the places that we are
Yeah.
leaning towards is the Liquid Cafe.
Have you ever been there?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't been to the Liquid Cafe? We have actually had a suggestion by her about another. Is that a restaurant or just a plain venue?
No, it's a restaurant.
Okay.
It's called the Chocolate Bar, Martini Chocolate Bar. It's in Pooler.
Yeah, we have. Have you been in there?
I have many times.
Okay. Okay. So they must have a nice private room in that we could use one time, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Because we're definitely trying to do this every month now. So you give couples a chance to come out who are new, or you can always come out, of course, for the first time. Now we got in touch with him. We haven't heard from him yet, but hopefully next month we will be with
Mhm.
him. And if not, we can always look at some other good restaurants, up to 10 people totally. Make sure they have
No,
a private
couples.
room for couples
10
because we want it
couples.
intimate. And we want you to drop that information on to us and let us know about it. There's our email below, as you can see that. And we might be able to do that at another month
Yes.
there. WRUU, Courtney Julius is going to be there. Make sure you get some information from there. Hopefully, we can see Miss Mona Lisa and her husband there because we're inviting all the hosts to come out that particular night. So you get to know the host. We'll give them a chance to speak to at the same time. And know that WRUU is a good station that's all
No,
about
not
speaking about us.
WRUU.
Excuse me. Well, WRUU will be there also because
Yeah.
we're also on
Yeah.
WRU, but our Black Media, of course, is
Yes.
going to be there too.
Yes.
So we're excited about that, both of
Yes.
them.
And by the way, what is your husband's name?
Gary Monroe.
Okay, Gary, because we keep calling him your husband, and so
Yeah.
Mm,
it's like
Gary and
so
Mona Lisa.
I wouldn't refer to you constantly as my husband. My husband. You are a very strong energy being.
but and that's true. But I'm here now.
I know. No,
You-
I'm saying if you weren't there.
when does he like in the midst of folks being called a husband, or does he prefer to have that personal? No, you can call me by my name. Or how's he go? How's he?
Oh,
really-
I can't even speak on that.
That's what I thought.
I just know that I understand her point because your wife. Okay,
Mhm.
well, what's her
Yes.
name? You know,
Mhm, mhm. So you're hoping he might feel the same way, which is don't just call me the husband, call me by my name.
he probably would. I don't know, but yeah, but I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah, because we spend a lot of times being somebody's husband or somebody's wife or somebody's mother or somebody's father, but we don't get a lot of the fact that we have a name. I mean, I have kids all the time coming up and talking about, I want you to meet my mother. This is my mom.
Yeah.
They would, doesn't she have a name? You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm probably a little bit more focused on that than most people.
Yeah, we'll see how he does since he can't speak for himself now. So, but
No.
he's there. Let's go to another commercial because time is going while we're here. Sure,
Mhm.
talk about a little bit of the WRUU that I slipped in real quickly that we do.
Well, on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock, we do another relationship show called Taking the Journey Together. Isn't that catchy?
Mhm.
Haven't heard that one before, have you? But anyway, we do that on WRUU. We've been doing it now for about 2 months. 2 months. 2 years. No, it's 3 years.
And you always remind me.
I do.
Okay.
I do. But anyway. So anyway, it's been about 3 years that we've been doing this since 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and we usually talk about the same thing, have the same topic that we have here on this show also. But the fact that we're spontaneous and we just kind of go with the flow, you get different information and different delivery methods, and so you get the same type of information. But I can't say that you will get the exact same information.
And what time is it usually?
9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock
9 a.m.
Eastern Standard Time. Just want everybody to know that when you're watching our show here streaming, it could be any place in the country and any place in the world. Just how well we're going, especially when we're up on Roku. So anybody could be watching us right now. Yeah.
9 a.m., not p.m.
Nope, 9 a.m. It's on Saturday mornings.
Exactly. So when you get up, and I like how when I was on her show, she said, I got to get my coffee. In fact, she sells coffee mugs. And I'm thinking, it's a shameless plug for you. Now, that means we should be getting one pretty soon.
Exactly. Matter of fact, I'll bring it to the dinner.
we would definitely would love that.
So speaking of shameless plugs, tell us when your show is on.
My show is actually on in the morning on Thursday.
Mhm.
So I'm on from 10 to 11 every Thursday morning. I used to have an evening show in 2022. And did I do it in 2021? I did a little bit in 2021 and in 2022, but the evening show sort of, faded away. A lot of the folks that I was thinking I was grabbing, they'd rather see me in the morning versus the evening. So I stopped doing that and continued the morning show. So every Thursday, 10 a.m. to to 11 a.m.
I think she has the right slot to, because when I was on early that morning, I had Sleepy Daddy still in my eyes. No, I'm just joking. Y'all don't even know what that is. Y'all young folks don't know.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
But the point was the brightness and energy. Remember, I said that to you. The brightness and energy she had in the morning. I had to be a brother. Asked her, "Are you this way all the time?"
The mornings that's just I am a morning person. So in the evenings it was just like a crash and a burn. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep the morning.
Well, she will wake you up in the morning, and that energy just keeps on going in the morning. So I think it was a good combination for you to do that, and with the coffee thing too, that was perfect.
Yeah, I watched the repeat of the show.
Oh,
good. The after it was over, when I came home, I sat down and watched it, and we watched it together, and it was really enjoyable. I was sitting here, I was so envious. I'm like, ooh, that job, if it wasn't for that job.
My husband says the same thing. He said most of the shows when he was out on Workman's Comp, he was able to be on the show all the time. But then as soon as he got well, he's on call now. So I'm just like, man, I sort of miss him, being on the show.
Yeah. What does he do? What does he do, man?
He works for the ports. So he's, during the morning time, he's either just getting in or heading out, one of the two. Okay. So, but hey, I loved it when he was on it. And we got quite a few shows when it's both of us, bouncing off one another. So I love the dynamic with you guys. That's what I love about it. You guys bounce off of one another. It's awesome.
What kind of, it was just me too, but I'm going to ask anyway, what kind of response did you get with just me being on the show? I have to do that because I can let her know that without her, I can do better by myself. No, I just want.
Oh yeah, you can't do better without. Yeah, y'all need each other.
No, I know. I just seriously, I wanted to find out, how did your show go with just me on there, and we were talking about what we talked about.
Yeah, usually I do pretty good. A lot of my viewership is Central Standard Time, believe it or not, because that's where I'm from. I'm from Texas. So I have most of my viewership comes from Texas, Memphis, where else? Louisiana. So I got a lot of central energy. So now, everyone's starting to get to know me in the Savannah area, thanks to Our Black Media, and the audience that Julius sort of brought with him is my viewership here.
All right. Well, I hope they enjoyed the show that day with us. Well, just me on it at the time.
Yes.
And
well,
that you got, and you got some good responses. And they said to themselves, in Savannah, they do have crazy folks there.
Well, they say that anyway.
I wanted to show you something that I told my wife about. I said, I know she stole it from me. I know she did. She swore she didn't. Here it is. I'm going to put it up there.
Oh, yeah.
I gave her the big question that we give everyone.
Your husband,
she's the first one that told us it meant what? Come on, sister, talk.
Your husband thought he was going to get me. He thought he was gonna get me.
I know she watched our show and said, "I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna write that
down." He just didn't even know I had been using that for about, I would say, 10 years now. And I preached it in a sermon, and ever since then, it's been my genre, my motto, my everything, and I live by it now because it's. Honest, open, and transparent. How else can you live your life? That's just what it is.
Well, one thing is for sure, and I told you the story how it came about with my well, of course, it came about me first when I was taking the journey years and years ago.
Yes.
But the arrangement with the letters to come out behind that was her. She's the one that came up from that particular. And as I said before, we have actually a whole event workshop that we can actually do on Hot. If you're ever thinking about it, working with you and the people that you know and Miss Mona, maybe you want to set something at a hotel, set something out at a Holiday Inn. No, I'm just joking. Or at a church or some other place. We would love to be able to talk a little bit more about that hot principle in all of the elements that come along with it, because as energy beings are life source, that is very important for us to understand. Our energy being or our life force is all about utilizing that principle for us to express ourselves on this earth because of who we are. And so the importance of that is to never think it should be left out. I know we live in a society that we wear masks. Langston Hughes has that poem. We wear the mask of
we wear the mask that grins and bear.
Exactly. And of course, when I ran the streets a lot, we had that thing that meant, are you good in the game? Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And that I understood was only taught to us, but that is not who we are. We are to be able to express ourselves totally in that particular way. Now, we know that there's some wisdom that comes along with it. Like, for instance, if I am not being hot with the person who I claim I love and care for, meaning my expression of who I am, but yet I'm being more hot with my boss at the job, something not right. Something's balanced. If I'm being more nicer to my boss at work and I come home and I scream and holler at him or her, something not right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of, I don't like the term fake it until you make it. I don't like that term.
No.
I do not like that term. I believe in faith it until you make it, but faking it, no.
So she just got on Les Brown. He used to say that.
Yeah,
that was one of I met Les Brown too before.
Yeah,
he filled a whole stadium of people. He's still alive too.
Yeah.
He was very motivational speaking, first black motivational speaker that ever was on the world stage, to be honest with you. And I've read his book, and there was a lot of the principles he talked about that I see strongly that could be placed, especially for young African Americans who understand that they have a right to be able to create and not just others create for them.
Yes.
But one thing is for sure, that was one of his strong saying. He had a whole story behind it that you fake it before you make it. At that particular arena that he was in, I'll be honest with you, he was doing a lot of sales approach kind of things. That's where he was doing good. I don't think that's a good thing to do in life when it comes to a relationship, but that's just me. So, I mean, I can understand that particularly, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should not fake it with the people that you have to live with. You know,
No.
That was the first place you
Yeah.
should try not to be, at
Yeah.
least.
at some point
Yeah.
you've got to be who you are, and you're either accepted or you're not, but you still have to be who you are.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
comes out. It's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Well, what either that, or sometimes we internalize it, and then we have physical problems because we internalize it as energy beings that is about to be living in expression of self. Our body then is going to react because there is a connection,
Exactly.
and we'll have ulcers, we'll have headaches,
Mhm,
migraines. You can go on and on
Yeah.
because we're
And-
internalizing it when that's letting it out.
And you know that's a very, very deep point that maybe in the future we can have a show on, or I can do a show on, or whatever. Because real talk, energy, when you deal with sickness, cancer is
Yes.
birthed because of negative energy.
Yeah.
And I'm a survivor of leukemia. And my holistic doctor told me exactly, I'm talking about the pinpoint exactly when and how my body was affected in the manner to where it received those broken down cells. Because your body, I'm telling you, it is I don't even know what word to use. It's amazing. Just put it like that.
Yes.
And trauma,
Mhm.
unforgiveness, bitterness, guilt. Those are the things that you just, think, oh, I'm bitter about this, or I'm upset about that. I'm not going to forgive that person. But believe it or not, your body forms negative dying cells when you carry that bitterness, that shame, that envy. I mean, those words have power. Those words have power.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's not even our bitterness that we're
Thank you.
we're carrying. We're carrying the bitterness that our parents had towards somebody else.
Generational.
The anger that somebody
Muscle
told us
memory.
about what happened to them.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
but we latch on to that. Sometimes
Cultural,
yeah.
sometimes teaching
uh-huh.
also affects us
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. I my little piece that I'm putting in here,
Yeah. Hmm.
I used to have horrific migraines. I wouldn't take, serious medication for it or anything because I don't like to do that. But they would be migraines that would put me in bed, for a couple of days sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And I had them regularly. I would go to work feeling horrible, go home and go to bed because my head was hurting so bad. Go back to
Wow.
work, and this would last sometimes 2 to 3 days. When I left the last relationship I was in, haven't had them.
Yep.
I still have migraines from time to time, and I know there's stress, but I don't have it regularly like that. I don't have them that severe, and I
Yeah.
know that it was just the stress, the anger, the animosity
Oh,
that
yeah.
being created through the energy of that relationship.
That's exactly what it is. I'm telling you, the unforgiveness of my father for years ate at my cells.
Mm.
And
Wow.
it
It would definitely do that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's real.
I'm a practicing shaman. So I practice what they call shamanism. I'm not going to get into it deep. I don't usually talk about spiritual stuff, but want to stay near that because it's important for who you are.
Mhm.
I practice it, actually urban shamanism. I'm gonna read something because I wasn't gonna go there, but since you went there, sister, I thought I'll go ahead and flow and let things go this way.
Yes.
The idea of this overall, when it comes to what we call energy life force, okay, many of us don't understand, and she probably does, that your body is actually an organ.
Yes.
I'll say it again. Your body is an organ. In fact, your
Yep.
biggest organ is your skin.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
That
Yes.
holds
Yeah.
all the organs that are inside
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And those
Exactly.
tissues in your body that's in you, dynamically, that body with those tissues inside, they all have their own distinct consciousness.
Mhm.
Every
Yep.
one of them. Now,
Yes.
doctors understand it on the other side of they have different functions.
Mhm.
The cells that in turn are cells won't necessarily be shaped as someone else's cells in the body.
They all look
Like
different.
for instance, a liver cell is not the same shape as a brain cell, but both of those cells have different functions of how they operate within your body.
Mhm.
So they speak and have their own conscious energy with one another without getting deeply. But these organs that have stored energy, which we call many times muscle memory, or as you know, organ memory. Like
Yeah.
for instance, did you have a heart problem that a doctor would say many times? Okay. Did your mom or dad have one before in the
Yeah.
past? Did you have some other particular past element that could be passed on because there is that memory in those organs because the organs have their own kind of consciousness.
Mhm.
The important things to know about it is that we have the ability to actually talk to our body because those organs are basically bits and pieces of us.
Yes.
They're
Now you talking my language.
so the importance of
Absolutely.
understanding that is important. So on that note, because we got to get ready to go, Mr. Julius always tells us at 6:57, and we're going to go a little bit slow because I just looked up here. We can't do our usual branding because this
And outro.
is still having a problem with the outro. But
Oh,
I know, because you just froze a few minutes ago too. We would love
oh,
to have you come back on because we
Definitely.
want to continue to talk about the powerfulness of understanding that your life force is
Mhm.
important, and that sexual part is the one of the strongest life forces that we can create together.
Yes.
And the
right.
importance of that life force of how do you deal with it? What do you think about it? Do you
Yeah.
sometimes make it become just a duty? Okay.
Mhm.
What are those things that are important with that life force
Yes.
in a relationship, especially of how we can also help it so it can be healed?
Right.
And
Which is
Mhm.
very important.
exactly. So we're at 6:58. Oh, is it 6:58? Or yeah,
Yes.
6:58. It says up here 577 5 it says
That's close
57
to
minutes.
same-
I'm
same-
gonna go give a Miss Lisa a chance to
Mona
Lisa a chance to say something, and then we're just gonna have to just close it. It's so how can I say non-official, but what can I say?
And once we shut down, please stay in the back room. Don't
Okay.
leave. Okay.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having me on your show this evening, and for all your viewers that maybe be up in the morning with me. Please tune in to the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show, honey, because we got a lot to talk about. Grab your coffee and some tea because we get it done in the morning time.
Can we
So,
can we go back on your show, but bring her?
yes, of course, of course. All the merrier. And what we do on the show is we just talk about what you're talking about. That's all we do.
That's good.
Definitely all good.
Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you.
My computer
Appreciate it.
says 6:59 and live says
Well, we'll just
58.
do it.
We'll do it. You want to shut it down now?
Well, 6:59. Well, okay. Well, we have
Rush,
like
it's
I have
counting
to-
now. You
we
want
have
to
like
say the last
30
couple of words?
seconds.
Go ahead, give 30 seconds out.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. How you going to say 30 seconds? That's it?
No, 30 seconds is make sure you check out Taking the Journey together.com and sign up for our Wow Date Night workshop. It's going to be a big thing. It's going to be an event for February to remember. Be there or hear about it here afterwards and wish you were there.
Exactly.
There you go.
Good night. God bless and Ashe.